Football, by the hell.
This is the future of dreams. Will you please welcome?
Hello and welcome to the Busby Way Podcast. It's episode 18 and we're back in the studio to go through this weekend's football. As always, before we get started, give us a like, share, subscribe across all your social media channels and all that kind of good stuff. It helps the algorithm. Join with me as always is the Oracle of Old Trafford, Brad. How are you getting on, Brad? You good?
I'm not bad. Good weekend. The Prestwich Falcons won.
Go on, Prestwich.
Go on the Falcons. A beautiful 1-0 win with a screamer from a young Michael. So it was great.
A 1-0 win, a young children's football game. That's kind of unheard of. It's usually quite high-scoring games.
It was a very
cagey affair.
No, there was some screaming attempts. Like we hit the bar like three or four times, but it was very it was on a grass pitch.
Yeah. Not them grass pitches.
But when we're used to playing on carpets. Do you know what I mean? We're used to playing on those magic carpets. Yeah. And but yeah, we got the win, a well-deserved win, and back up the table.
Up the Falcons, then. Up the Falcons. That's good then. Yeah. Nice little fat win there for you to celebrate. Quite possibly the only win we were celebrating this weekend, really, wasn't it?
Well, we were celebrating Brighton's win. We certainly were.
Mate.
We certainly were. Danny Welbeck!
Danny Welbeck, what an absolute legend he is.
Oh, Danny, come back, please, Danny. Danny.
You just look at our bench, sometimes you go, just throw Danny Welbeck in there.
It's like Adam Partridge singing, Dan!
Yeah, I'd love Danny Welbeck back in the squad, but alas, we didn't have him. And on Friday, we got done over, really. Do you want to talk us through it?
Well, I promised my son I wouldn't swear. And he said,
what are you
going to call Stuart Atwell? Are you going to call him a coward? He said. And
one of the letters is correct.
Yeah, one of the letters is certainly correct.
Yeah.
He's just a terrible referee, isn't he? The C word is consistency. You know, if he gives the first one, how can he not? And he did that whole thing where he just went, staring at it like that, and then he waltzes off, and they obviously go up the other end and score. How VAR cannot intervene in that circumstance, I do not know. Dreadful.
Mate, I think VAR is totally part, and the ref must have been like, oh shit, I've dropped a bullet there, not giving that Ahmad one. That's a mistake. Or at least they're not going to score. Oh shit, they have scored. Yep. And then obviously it just turned the game on its head, didn't it, really?
Oh, but it's not as if they haven't got technology to back them up, is it?
Yeah, I mean, apparently you can get cameras and stuff in stadiums.
Oh yeah, and we've had how many seasons of VAR now? How many seasons of VAR?
We'll get it right eventually.
Too busy. He's given the on-field decision as a non-penalty. We're not going to refer him because it's not clear and obvious. Well, how clear and obvious did you need to be? Did he need to get in his pants?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what I mean? It was just stupid. He had that much of his shirt. It was nearly off his back. Yeah. He threw him onto the ball. Stuart Atwell has got a list of crimes against Manchester United. The Burnley game, two blatant ones. The stamp from Kyle Walker on Dorgu. Then you've got the Martinez disallowed goal. How is he still a Premier League referee? I do not know. But then they're all crap.
Oh, there's no argument. The standard is absolutely been appalling this season.
It's a strange one. When we get Anthony Taylor as a referee, and I think he's a bang average referee, I'm thinking, well, at least we've got a bang average one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He seems to have had a decent season. He's kept out of the spotlight a little bit, and every time he's refed us, I've given him good marks on Fanalysis, but it's just, I'm bored of it. How many decisions has it been? How many this season? I mean, people look at the Cunha one that we had, but then from the first game of the season, Cunha's the foul on Cunha by Gabriel or Saliba, whoever it was, and there's just been a melee of them, and it's boring now. We were in control of that game. That would have made it 2-0. And to be fair, Bournemouth, worked their way back in, and they were on top when they got their second goal, but their first goal came out of nothing. They weren't in the game. It's a shame, but look, Liverpool messed up, they got slippy, Chelsea got spanked 3-0, and I don't even know why I want to talk about Tottenham, but they got humbled again.
Just it's always nice to mention. No, but I think going back to the game on Friday, I think the problem is you're going to get refs making mistakes. That's been since the dawn of time in Premier League, as far as I'm aware. They're always going to make mistakes. The problem is the lack of consistency. Yeah, the Harry Maguire one was a red card and a penalty. Yeah, absolutely granted. But that one on Ahmad was also a penalty, and it's like, but there was not much difference in it. Do you know what I mean? And I know that one wasn't going to be a red card because he wasn't through on goal or what have you, but it was still a penalty. And it's just the lack of consistency is the killer. How can we're not even going from game to game. We're going 10 minutes later on in the match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel sorry for Maguire's one. I mean, if you're going by the letter of the law, it's a penalty and a red card. However, you've seen everywhere on the pitch defenders put their arms across, and it doesn't make the striker's legs buckle, like they've been punched in the chin by Anthony Joshua. It wasn't, he didn't grab his shirt and throw him to the floor. He put his arm across him, and Evan Nielsen took a tumble. 5 years ago, that would have been a yellow card to Evan Nielsen for simulation. That's how far we've gone.
Do you think? I think it was a penalty. I've got to say, I don't think it was simulation.
I do for today's standards, but how often in a football match, and this is really the problem, isn't it? Like the game is being refereed by people who don't play the game, or never really played the game. You heard Mike Dean come out after. They got that one with Cunha. Like, what about the other 7?
But I don't think getting one negates.
No, it doesn't.
One.
It doesn't. You are absolutely.
You don't
the
have
key
a quota.
word is you don't have a quota.
Yeah,
yeah. Consistency. It's the only thing consistent is the inconsistency about it. And when you've got Alan Shearer on Match of the Day defending Manchester United, there's a fucking problem. You know what I mean?
One of the signs of the oncoming apocalypse, isn't it?
Shearer defends United. Yeah. Christ.
But that was it. I think, the problem is, I think we've come away from that match again. It was quite a big moment for us, I thought, this season. I thought if we win that, I think third is nailed on. I still think it is nailed on, but I think mathematically, it's too much for other clubs to try and thingy to make up that gap. And we didn't win it, so maybe third's not in our hands. Not that it necessarily would have been if we won, but I just think it would have. But I feel like that was a big opportunity missed by the club and by the team, and it's only because of refs. Would you say that's fair? And we've been quite lucky and fortunate with that the teams around us, bar Villa, have all dropped points this weekend. Yeah. I think in previous seasons, if we'd done that, or even earlier in the season, if we messed something up, like the other teams would make ground on us or what have you. And we got away with one this weekend. We did. I mean, to come away with the other thing we've not mentioned yet, 9 minutes of added time. Yeah,
the fuck did they get that from? Do you know what I mean? Like, what?
Imagine if they had stopped for VAR.
Jesus Christ! I think it was clear and obvious that the referee wanted Bournemouth to win. That was clear and obvious, wasn't it? And but ultimately, reflecting on the game as a whole, I think we weren't as good as we've been. Yeah. We did have control in the game before that madness. I think the first half was a bit turgid, but we got going in the second half. Bruno played fantastic again. I think Kobe was good as well. I thought Kobe had a great game. But it was a kind of a flip side of the Bournemouth game at Old Trafford. We had the control, and it wasn't that mental back and forward. I think that sort of got it only became that when we didn't get that penalty. Yeah. That was the first time they really broke on us. But I was really proud of how the team reacted to Harry Maguire sending off. Yeah. To hold out for 20 minutes, because it was 20 minutes. It was the 81st minute when he gave the penalty, and then we ended on
112, wasn't it?
Which is crazy. And I was glad Michael Carrick showed his charisma. In the post-match interview. Not that he had to do anything daft, but he was absolutely right to call it out. And the club have rightfully made a complaint to the PGMOL, because it's so many decisions. It's so many failures of the PGMOL, of the refereeing and the VAR, that something has to be done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I think the thing that's frustrates me is we're sat here, we're about 10 minutes into a podcast here, and we've only talked about the refs. Yeah. We haven't really talked about the performance of the game. So I want to try and move the conversation into how we played and what that meant.
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
No, that's not a thing. It's just that's been the narrative. It's all been about refs, and when other clubs do it, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I know.
But like, and I do feel like the game itself. We, like you said, we had control of it, but I felt like we had that kind of. That issue we've had in recent weeks, not being able to break teams down. But like you said, we did have full control. We did create opportunities. I would genuinely thought we were going to have a little bit more oomph going forward. What did you think about the front line, Sesko being dropped back to the bench again?
I think it's so. Look, we don't know what's going to happen in the Leeds game because there's 24 days, right? Yeah. But I think Mbeumo played a bit better than he had done previously without really doing much to stay on the pitch. I think he was the right man to come off. I think Ahmad stepped up a level throughout the game. I think he had that one chance to go clean through, and he just, his foot the ball went over his foot, which was a shame. But other than that, he was a threat all game on that side, and rightfully should have had a penalty.
Well, more on that later.
Had to slip it in. Had to slip it back in. But overall, Shaw had a very good game. I thought at left back. Ryan was good for Bournemouth, and Shaw matched him on a few times. I think that's really where Shaw's at now. He's not really offering too much going forward, but he's being so solid defensively.
Safe pair of hands, isn't he?
Safe pair of hands there. His crossing seems to have dropped off a little bit this season. Which
maybe he could do with this 22-day break or whatever to be fair Leeds. I think a couple of players could do with a bit of a refresh, to be honest.
It's not as if we've been playing tons of football, right? So, but I think the good thing is about this break is it means Dorgu should be back, should be involved in the matchday squad. It gives Mason Mount more time on the training pitch, back from his injury. It hopefully allows Martinez to come back in because obviously Maguire's out now. He's a one-game ban because of the red card. And you'd think that United will probably do some behind closed doors friendlies or something to get the levels up.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to find out where DeLitt is. I saw them handing out leaflets and Piccadilly Gardens. Have you seen this man? So it'd be good to know a little bit more about it.
We started this podcast trying to find Dong Fang Zhou. We found him, and now we've got to find Matthias DeLitt. I'm genuinely worried. You joked about his ex-wife putting a hex on him.
The White Witch.
Yeah, I'm genuinely thinking that we need to get some sort of seance going together just to...
He's been turned into a frog or something, right? Okay.
Either that, get the exorcist in,
No, he has just fallen off the face of the earth, but I think we do need some players back. Yeah. We need Martinez coming back. We need Dorgu, like you said, he'd be a big one for us to have come back. And I do think we do need to kind of use this time to get players fresh and fit again, because I feel like the last couple of weeks we had that Carrick bounce and we played really well, and I feel like now we're getting... Not falling back into bad habits, that's maybe a bit too strong, but I feel like we need to get more clinical enough and just kind of go up a gear and just really switch it on and really stake a claim for this third place spot.
I thought Heaven's cameo after coming on was good, and I think the Leeds game is probably, even though Martinez will definitely come, might be back, it actually is a good game for Heaven and Yoro, given the physicality of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And he's, bagged a fair few for them this season. So we need someone to lock that down. But I'd go with Heaven and Yoro, to be honest.
Have they been tried yet for us at the start?
I think Heaven and Yoro have had a couple of games.
Starting?
Yeah, I think they started against Leeds.
Because I was going to say Heaven played.
Maybe. Heaven definitely played because he made that mistake, didn't he? But I want to see more of Heaven under Carrick. I think the way Carrick wants his defenders to play, because if you noticed, Yoro, although he's had some ins and outs, and he's actually getting more consistency, and he was, I think he was good the other night.
They played him into form, haven't they? And that was the thing. I think with Yoro there was a stick or twist. It's like he's been a bit ropey. Do we take him out of the firing line, or do we just chuck him in the deep end and say swim? And he's done that, and I think that's worked really well for Yoro. So I would like to see Yoro and Heaven together, because I think that is the future. It's
worked a little bit like he's done with Sesko, right? Yeah. So he's kind of, again, making the decisions for the future rather than for the here and now, and that's why, like I said last week, Carrick's my man, because ultimately those decisions it'd be dead easy to go, you've spent 60 million quid on this centre back. Let's get him in there. Let's play him. He's got to be the one. And like, we've killed players before, and I'm glad that we're taking care of him, and looking after protecting the asset.
Yeah, before they become a liability.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And but like we said, the weekend's gone. It's all worked out. It's all come out. It's all come out smelling Carrick because Liverpool dropped the ball against Brighton.
Oh, they were so bad.
Fantastic,
they were so bad. It was so funny. The reaction to it as well. Like, I spent some time this morning just reacting to some Liverpool videos. Do you know what I mean? There were lots of them calling for calm, calling them to keep, because he's on for not being able to beat Moyes' record. Yeah. So, which is just, you know what I mean? It just warms my cockles. It does. It just does. Yeah. It just makes my day, seeing the fall after spending 450 million on players. Yeah. I mean, granted that Isak's been out for a long time. He's got a broken leg, hasn't he? But
yeah, but I think before Isak was out, they were having problems anyway. He wasn't. Ekitike was starting ahead of Isak and everything. So
he's injured now as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's looked pretty like a bit of a bad one. They said he had a dead leg, but it looked like it could be a bit more serious than that.
Yeah, hopefully he's back soon. Yeah, don't wish injuries on him.
No, he's a quite good player. I mean, don't wish injuries. Just don't play him. I mean, really good if you just play the kids.
He's really, really good. So I just hope he shouldn't play.
Yeah, but Chelsea again, incredible. Another defeat. Because I was looking. Oh God, actually.
Oh, his brother's posted. Have you seen what his brother's put on?
Tell me.
He's updated his Instagram with 23, 24 and like a dove, meaning that's like kind of his Garnacho's best season, which obviously at United. So his brother's already starting to twist the knife, and the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Definitely not, especially when he's at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. But they had a shocker. I think their manager, like we've been papered over the cracks by the fact that teams are dropping points left, right, centre. I think if there's any other season, we'd be dropping down a little bit, and we'd probably be looking more closer to the 5th, 6th part. So we've done well to ride the storm. It's quite funny with Liverpool. I've been saying for a while, I was like, I can see them probably putting a run together. And I think last weekend I can't see it.
Well, they had that. I mean, I've got this opinion about, and maybe talk about this now with the Champions League teams. Yeah. There has been such a drop-off in performance from the Champions League teams this season after the Champions League. I know that's always been the case, that they're a little bit tired, but it's never been that the levels have gone through the floor. And I put it down to tactically, it's such a big change from the because the Champions League they tend to play a little bit more expansively, a bit quicker. And then the Premier League, they go back. Everyone's playing shithousery football, aren't they? Long throws, taking 20 minutes on a corner, grabbing each other up like they're outside of insert nightclub here at 3 a.m. And it's a bit embarrassing. The Premier League, the standards of the Premier League, I think, has dropped this season, and that comes from the Champions League teams need to be playing the best football. And they're just not, look at Tottenham.
Yeah. You look at him, it's boring whenever I look at him. Well, I think that's the thing, though. The league is just not like... The league is so competitive this year, anyone can take points off anyone. That's made it more interesting. The standard's not been as high, but it has been it's been a better spectacle as a league.
I thought Newcastle would have a bounce after that 7-2.
Oh, mate. Jesus, yeah, they had a shocker as well.
Beaten by their closest rivals,
and I mean demolished it.
Yeah, but they're the richest club in the world.
They can't spend a penny in it.
Can't spend a penny on it.
That's like being hung like wrong Jeremy and having no Johnnies. But yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But like Liverpool have dropped points, and most of that was down to our boy Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck. Beauty. Like, obviously this is a United podcast, and he is still a United player in my mind. So we can talk a little bit about him. I think he's having the form of his life, I think, at this season. And I think he's bagging goals. He's the highest scoring Englishman in the Premier League. Yep. But he didn't make the England squad this week. What do you think of that?
I think it's the old ageism, innit? I think Tuchel's got to pick players that he thinks are going to be able to be fit and ready and on the plane, but Danny Welbeck's not had any fitness concerns for a couple of years now, and he had those big problems during the early parts of his career, didn't he, where he just couldn't get a run of games because of injuries, and I think that's prolonged his career. He still looks
sharp.
Fit. He still looks sharp. He's he does this thing where I think he's very similar to Harry Kane in his movement, because he drops very, very deep and he arrives in the box at the right time.
Yeah.
And his finishing is up there. You know, if he was playing for I mean, it's hard to not call Brighton a top team because they do play some good football. They've had a bit of a...
But they're patchy.
They're patchy, aren't they? But with Danny Welbeck, look at his record against the top teams. He scores goals against
past us.
Against the big teams. He always seems to get a goal against us. He always seems to get a goal against the Chelseas, the Liverpools of the world. And I think it's harsh to leave him out of the squad because of his age. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored quite a few early doors, but his form's dropped a little bit.
Solanke's made the squad over Welbeck.
Oh yeah, Solanke, yeah.
Now, I'm a fan of Solanke. I don't think I rate him quite highly. I think he's still quite young, but I think if you're comparing who's having the better season between him and Welbeck, it's a no-brainer. It's
got to be Danny Welbeck. I mean, but England managers have always done this, haven't they? They've always not picked like the info. Foden's in the squad. He can't get a minute for City. Well, how many minutes did he get today? Like 3.
Yeah,
You're
3 minutes.
3 minutes. And that's just...
It takes longer to boil an egg.
It does take longer. And you've got like that lad for Bournemouth who played well against us, who could be in the position, in his position, who's in form and scoring goals. And I would much prefer the England manager to pick the 23 most informed players. Yeah. And there has to be, if Harry Kane wasn't in form or if Jordan Pickford was slightly out of form, you've got to make an exception there. But, ultimately, it should have at least 18 of the 23 or 25 of the informed players. Otherwise, it's just a bit of a farce.
Well, I think that's it. I think Tuchel, I think he's coming in with the objective, win this tournament. And he's got it in his head how he's going to do it. And I don't think he's one for experimenting or tinkering. I think he's like, this is what I'm going to do.
Ollie Watkins is in. Ollie Watkins didn't look like he could boil an egg, like you said the other day.
But what I'm saying is he's got it in his head what he's doing. He's not deviating from his plan. He's not looking at players like you Welbeck's potentially just going, well, let's give them a little go, see what they're like. Yeah. I mean, he's still picking Henderson and stuff. So it's like, so you've got to say I think he's very fixed. He's got a clear mind of what he's doing in the tournament. So I think that's why the players like Danny Welbeck, people who talk about Welbeck getting a call up since October and he's not even been shown. Not even been shown.
Yeah. Did he even get a phone call? Did he even get a little nod to say, come on, if you carry on, we'll bring you on the plane? Because I mean, is he 34, 35? Yeah. He's got 40 caps for England, something like that. Yeah. He's not played in 6-7 years, but get him if he's fit. If he's what happens if he hits 18 goals in the Premier League season and we don't take him?
Yeah,
it's mental.
Yeah, he's getting the Darren Bent treatment, isn't he? Darren Bent is that house currently for Walcott.
Is Tony in the squad? I've not double checked. That would be a farce if Tony's in it.
I haven't checked, to be fair, so we need to have a look at that.
I think you'd bag more in Saudi. Do you know what I mean?
I would, I think I'm pretty deft.
I mean, he said, what was it? Tony said that it's a better league than most European leagues.
Well, of course, you're going to say that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, well, it is probably better than most European leagues, but most European leagues, that counts as Luxembourg. That's Lithuanian league. Like the most European leagues, yeah. But yeah, no, he's I think he's kind of bigging it up a bit to make his numbers up better. And to be fair to him, he's doing all right over there. He scored more than Ronaldo, hasn't he? Or he had last time I looked at it.
But Ronaldo's 40-year-old, do you know what I mean? Or 41, whatever he is. Like, it's not as if that shouldn't be the benchmark of what success is. He scored more than Ronaldo. Scored more than Ronaldo. What? Ronaldo just rocket. Like, Ronaldo's been carrying injuries and stuff. He's 40-odd-year-old, and he's still near to Ivan Toney. Like, it shouldn't be a barometer. 5-6 years ago,
can you beat this pensioner?
Yeah, can you beat this guy who's outscored everyone in world football, but yet is just paying for a check, which he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But going back to United again, then bring it back round. Obviously, we're still in third. We're still there. We're not too far behind City. Obviously, it doesn't look like we're going to be catching the race.
No, so your prediction's wrong because you said that
at the end of March.
But that's not going to happen.
No, but I didn't say we'd be above him. I said there'd be a moment where we go ahead of him because of the kick-off times.
You're one of those guys. You just can't say I was wrong.
No, I'm not. I was wrong, but I didn't say we'd be above them. I say there'd be a moment where we'd be thinking.
I hoped you were right, but ultimately it's just
West Ham fucked us, mate.
West Ham fucked us, and Stuart Atwell fucked us as well.
So, and if that happened, maybe. But who
Stuart
knows?
Atwell fucked us twice because he was in with the Burnley game. Do you know what I mean? 6 points there. We would have been.
He fucks us that much. We should subscribe to his OnlyFans. Fuck's sake, mate.
Get his bathwater on.
But this is it. The thing is, I was going to say about Carrick though, is like, obviously we're now into third. We're not too far behind City. We're not too far behind City. It doesn't look likely we'll catch him. But does it fill you with a lot of what ifs? Like, what if Carrick had started sooner? Would we be closer to a title challenge? Not necessarily saying we'd be winning the league, but would we be, if he was here at the start of the season, you look at games like your Nottingham Forest one and the Tottenham one where we're dropping points like needlessly from winning positions. I think a couple of them changes the narrative of the season for us. Do you think if Carrick had been at the start of the season, we'd be in a much higher place?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. If we sacked Amorim in the summer, would Cunha and Mbeumo come to United?
Yeah.
That's the question mark. Because I think Amorim worked on those transfers. I think Amorim did work on those players. I think he worked on Cunha, especially. I think the project was better for Mbeumo. And obviously, the Amorim system suited Mbeumo slightly better than Carrick's system. But Mbeumo will get there. Do you know what I mean? He's a top player. But to answer your question, I think if the decision would have been made a month earlier, 100%, we'd have had that. It was those games pre-Christmas that fucked us, and it's a real shame. But we've got a lot to look forward to next season under Michael Carrick, 3-year deal. That's
fair play. But I think that's it. I think if we'd had one,
and I'm not an ITK. I don't think that's. I have no information on that. That's just me being fly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when it happens,
when it got
the scoop.
We've got the scoop. Yeah.
No, but I just genuinely think I think we probably would be in a better place. But I think next season it sets us up nicely to kick on. We would be in a better place now.
And my mental health's in a better place because of Michael Carrick.
Yeah, definitely is. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, my weekends are a lot happier places.
They are. They're a lot happier places, aren't they? It feels you go into a game thinking, "What? Oh, we've got a great chance of winning here." And you think, Cunha or Sesko or Mbeumo or Sesko. You're not thinking, right, which 3 defenders is he going to substitute? That was really what it was. Who's going to play the inverted right wing back?
I can't wait.
Oh God, we could play. When you think about it, it's madness. And the owners, to be fair to them, they probably gave Amorim too much time. I know we wanted the calm, and we could see revisionism is a maximum on this point. But you asked the question, and I'm definitely looking forward to the summer under Carrick.
Yeah, and like I said,
what do you think, bro?
I honestly think we probably would have been a little bit higher up the league. I think Amorim, he was playing in a way that I had faith that would come good if we had the right players for it. But his problem was he had no flex to kind of move it around. Whereas Carrick has showed that flexibility in space. He's like, I'll play you here, I'll move you in, I'll play you in positions that'll work best for the team. And I think long term Amorim may have worked. I think it will, but I think Carrick was, like you said, for the here and now, like trying to work for the team. And I think we'd probably I'd say we'd have another at least 8 points on the board if Carrick was here at the start of the season.
So not quite top, but
but I think
ahead of City, in a title race.
And I think that would be a fair assessment. I think there's a lot of games that we've dropped points in needlessly under Amorim that I think Carrick maybe would have got us over the line.
Do you think we can be in a title race next season?
I think we're in a very good position to build and create a title race.
I do.
I think the league is in a place where it's up for grabs. If you can put some consistent run together, you can go for the league. Now United, we're not a million miles off, I don't think, for a title charge. I think you need a couple of good centre mids, you need a left back, a couple of players here and there just to switch it up a bit. But I think there's possibility if we buy right in the summer and we get the right people in the room, then we can do my title charge.
I think with a Man United with Champions League football is obviously Man United is always a big sell, but a Man United with Champions League football with the fans on side with the Carrick. With the positivity that came in the room, and I think this is we're reaping the rewards for a good summer of recruitment and some tough decisions that you have to give credit to the ownership. I know I've been critical of them, but they've come in, they've made some changes, some popular, some unpopular, some I don't agree with and will always disagree with, but it would have been easy for them to stick it out with Amorim.
Yeah.
It would have been easy. It would have been easy for them to not go heavy on the recruitment after Champions League. I think they've pushed the finances as far as they could to get players in, and I think if we get the Champions League football over the line, which it's looking like it is, we're a much more attractive financial proposition. We've got it's big to keep Bruno, and you add 4 or 5 names there, which you expect every window, 3, 4, 5 names, and you can really see us putting something together and building on it. Momentum is easy to break, but actually very, very hard to stop once it's in full force. And we finish off the season well and high, get those couple of signings in, and we go again next season, and hopefully get off to a good start. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think next season does look a lot promising for United, but looking forward to what seems like it's going to be next season, the Leeds game in about 22 days or whatever.
God, fucking hell. That's the hardest thing about this season, isn't it? With not being in Champions League and the other cups, so many breaks. Yeah, it's like I can't even think of an analogy about breakups. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a
like
few
Taylor Swift's track record.
It is like Taylor Swift. Yeah, they're never getting back together, and we're never playing at the moment. It's boring. I mean, I watched the under-18s the other night, which was good. But and a nice win. But ultimately, there's just not a lot to look forward to. But the Leeds game, I'm positive for the Leeds game. We've got a good track record against Leeds. It was obviously Amorim's final game, so it would be a good barometer to see how far they've come. I'm really excited to have Dorgu back. I hope Dorgu is ready for that game, because we kind of need a bit of a injection on that left hand side. Not necessarily on that left hand side, because Cunha's actually played quite well, but just some variation in there, because Cunha can go on the right, Cunha could go down through the middle. Cunha
playing goal if you'd let him. He just does everything. I love that guy.
I love the guy. I think he's been one of my favourite signings for a long time. I think he's got the attitude. He's got that.
Absolutely. I think his stats aren't as impressive as other players, but like just watching him on the eye test, he's incredible. I love having him in that team.
He just gets you off your seat, doesn't he? And he just he does those little things. He's like our Mark Cucurella.
Yeah,
that's what he is. He's our Mark Cucurella. He's the right level of see you next Tuesday.
Yeah,
isn't he?
exactly.
Like you've said.
Yeah, but I think Leeds at home as well. Great positive. I'm glad that when we're coming back after this break, we're at home, get the home fans behind us, and maybe have a bit of a rallying cry for the rest of the season.
Exactly. Pie, mash, and United. That's it. No mash. Do you know? I'm gonna talk a little bit about. I went to Bury Football Club yesterday.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Right. Because we're doing this thing for the Angry Ginger game that I'll talk about on future pods, but. I had a lovely time at Bury Football Club. I left at half time because it was the third game I've been to. But the pie at Bury, Jesus Christ, it was probably the best thing I've ever had at a football stadium.
Gig Lane pies.
The Gig Lane pie. It was a brand new pie that week, and it was a salt and pepper chicken pie. My days. And it came with gravy, which is we think, oh my, and some peas. It was absolutely fit.
I remember when Ewood Park to watch United in the FA Cup, and I was blown away that they had cottage pie. They were like, what pie do you want? It was like meat and potato steak, and then it was like, oh, cottage. I was like, what do you mean cottage pie? There's like someone walking around, pile of mash in his hand.
Mate, it was great, and I mean, like Bury have been through a really hard time. They've got that plastic pitch now, which is to obviously to keep them income. And there's some sad things happening in football with our old football clubs. Obviously, Bury was one of the big English clubs that went a few years back, and it's been reborn. It's looking like Sheffield Wednesday are going that way, which is really, really sad that the government can't step in and sort that out. Yeah. Because
owners have done them dirty, haven't they? There.
And I know we're obviously Man United fans, but we do care about the footballing community, and I just think there's football regulators, there's this, there's that. Sort out the heritage clubs that have helped build the beautiful game. I know we borrowed Harry Amas to them, but everyone should chip in to help Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, it's here.
Here.
But yeah, that is said as well, moving up back onto Leeds again, though, as a heritage club of the league. Do you still see them as a huge rival for Man United?
Yes, because the Leeds fan base are mental. Like, the Leeds away is probably the worst place to go, and I think that's the acid test of a good rivalry. Do you know what I mean? And it does feel good to beat them, and they've got so many chips on their shoulder about Ken Bates, Massimo Cellino,
Your Yorkshire accent, I've got to say, is fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh, Yorkshire Ripper. Just throw that in there.
Up the Ripper.
Up the Ripper. No, not up the Ripper. He killed some people, but
not up the Ripper. Then whoa,
not up the Ripper. But we did mention Jim. But we're not going to mention him in this podcast. Yeah. We're going to say we mentioned him on the Christmas episode. You asked me to steer clear of a certain BBC presenter, but no,
Louis Theroux.
come on, Louis Theroux.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that documentary either, although it was top as well. Manosphere. But no, it is still a big rivalry. They're obviously they've been through the shit. They were treated again. It wasn't a fan-based thing. The reason why they fall out again, another financial, heartache with a charlatan that come in, spent a load of money, tried to get the impossible dream for them and fell short, and then it took them years to get back. But they fill out the stadium every week. They are a Northwest club, just over the M62, and ultimately they'll always be a rival, right? Are they a bigger rival than Manchester City? Probably not. Definitely not. Are they a bigger rival than Liverpool? No, but they can still be classed as a rival.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger fans, obviously, they were out of the league for so long, they kind of don't know about the history of that fixture and stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of good to have them back, but obviously
the Alan Smith derby.
The Alan Smith.
I loved Alan Smith.
The man, absolute man. But we have got a long way to wait for the end. There's 22 days. Obviously, next week we're probably going to look at doing something a little bit different with the pod. Get another guest in.
A cheeky guest in.
The
return of the Mac.
Oh,
We'll see. We have a guest coming. He's coming back. You watch this space.
Yeah, I mean, we've only had 2 guests. So you can probably work it out.
You can probably work it out.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman? No. The comments were class.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But to be fair to him, he took them all well, and it's great to have him back on. So
yeah. On that note, then let's cap it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share, and join us on next week's pod. We love you all. Thank you.
Ta-da.
Football, by the hell. This is the nurture of dreams. Will you please welcome